primary ignition.
Hey, this is Obi-Tahi. I play Dr. Pershing, and you are watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
Hey, everybody.
Hello there.
Hey, Dr. Nick.
Hey. Did you share to the page or should I?
Go for it.
Okay, cool.
I just hooked up the Instagrams.
Well. All right, and it's shared, and it's shared, and it's shared, and it's shared. Welcome to another week of the Virtual Cantina Watch-Along. My name is Spencer. I am one of your hosts for the evening, and I am joined by my Ravaged cat that I got from Mr. Sean Gunn, which I'm very excited about. But right and chewy is Jeff. How are you, sir?
Standy.
Cool. And we have one of the co-hosts for Clone Wars Revisited, Skip Preckle. Skip, how are you, sir?
Doing good. It's been a busy and fun day.
Absolutely. So we're very excited about this episode. To me, honestly, this was the best episode of the season. The shortest episode so far, but there's a reason for that. We'll talk about that after the episode. But a lot to talk about, a lot to unravel in this particular one. But if you are joining us right now on any of our different services, whether it be the VCN, on Facebook, on X, well, you should be on X watching us because it would probably be worse, or Instagram, chime in. We love hearing you talk, But Dave right now is heading towards Superhero Con in Texas, where Joanna and a lot of our other members are right now. Joanna's already met up with some members, which is kind of cool. They were actually in the same line for Sam Witwer.
Nice.
Which is awesome. But Skip just did a con. I just did a con. There's cons all around. This is a great summer of going to shows and things are going up. Fan Expo Boston was fantastic. I mean, obviously with Rosario, the first con for Bryce Dallas Howard and her husband, Seth Gable, which was awesome because I actually got an 8x10 of Seth from Mandalorian because if you bought a Bryce Dallas Howard autograph, you can do an add-on of $20 for her husband, which is kind of cool.
Oh, pretty.
Yep. And he did the voice of the bartender droid in the droid bar in season 3, which was kind of
Nice.
cool.
I did not know that.
Mine Santi was incredible. What a great guy. Diana Leonsanto, incredible. Cameron Monahan was a gentleman and a scholar, as always. Sean Gunn was great. Alan Tudyk. Obviously, all the Clone Wars, Dee, Ashley, James, Matt, who walked to his table. And by the way, Skip says hello. Skip Preckle? Skip Preckle? Sorry. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yes. He's like, oh, tell him I say hi. I'm like, sorry, I didn't bring any milk this time. But he knew exactly who I was when I said Skip. I was like, of course, everybody knows who Skip is. Yes, Fan Expo Boston was great. But Skip, you just went to a show yourself.
I don't know about that, but I've met Matt and Ashley and James a few times, and maybe annoyed them enough now that they know my name. But actually, Matt, last time I went to a con in Richmond, Matt and I stayed in the same hotel, and I was running down to check out the situation, and the elevator opens up, and I'm looking down at the floor, kind of look up, and I see this guy walk in, and the door closes, and I go, "Hey, Matt." And he goes, "Skip, right?" I was like, "Yeah." But no, he's I've been following him on him and his wife's Instagram. They're remodeling a house in Ohio, so I've been watching that with a little personal interest because that's, of course, what I do when I'm not hanging out here on the Cantina Network. So, But yeah, I had a great time in Dallas. Went down there with the family. Got to see David Tennant. Boy, his lines were massive. Now, didn't help that his flight coming in was a little bit behind. And then also saw Natasha. She's just as cute in person as she is on screen. And Emily was there. Said hi to Emily for Spencer. You know, and then who else? Tim was there, but I didn't get to see Tim this go around. Saw Alan Tudyk. David thought my shirt was really cool because he had lines and lines and lines of people there for Doctor Who. And then I roll in with a Hu Yang T-shirt. So he was like,
Oh, yeah.
he goes, nice shirt. So, but yeah, it was a good time. Excellent con, very well organized. I mean,
I like the Fan Expo shows. I mean, like I said, I just did Boston, and then you're going to Chicago later on because you got to go meet Mark Hamill.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. And then I'm also going to see Diana there. I have not met her yet, and just not been at the right con that she's there. So I'm going to get to meet her as well. So I'm very excited about that.
She's a sweetheart and a half. You're going to love talking to her and meeting her. So that's be very excited. Jeff, have you gone to any shows? I know you've been like running around doing like different things here and there.
Well, I was hanging out at Scum and Villainy on Tuesday doing another build session with Evil Ted, the cosplay armor prop builder who's worked in the actual entertainment industry forever and done some really awesome pieces for different cool properties that you've seen on screen on both the big and small screen. So that was Tuesday. That was fun. And what did I do over the weekend? There was something not related to anything like that. There was a free alcohol event that I went to. Those are always fun.
That's always a good thing.
Black Crown Royal Blackberry, which was pretty good, and the drinks they were mixing were pretty good, and they had nice little bites to go with it. So I was getting my fill of. They have little mini tacos, sliders, skewers. They had popsicles. They had all kinds of cool stuff. That was fun.
Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, so we got a lot of exciting stuff going on right now. We are obviously going to be going off to California in a little over a month, like 6 weeks at least, 4, 5, 6 weeks for the family vacation. It's going to be.
Guess what I did today, Spencer?
What was that?
Guess what I did today? I took my Disney tickets and scanned them into my Disneyland app so that I can lose them now and still have them. Go right into the.
Well, here's the funny thing about that, and I didn't make that rule or to don't take it for you. I knew that your wife at least had that. It was not instituted because of you. So the fact that people are actually doing that, you're set. You can get into the park at any time. You're not messed up. You can do what you need to do. But I'm very, very excited about that. The trip's gonna be great. A lot of guests. We were just working on the floor plan for Hollywood, and there's gonna be 3 rooms of guests at Biggs, which would be ridiculous. But very excited about that. Some surprises about to be announced next week or so. One more announcement for the big show, which we're going to probably announce on Monday, which is going to be great. But yeah, no, just a lot of fun and a lot of shenanigans and a lot of, us just spending time together. Ashley had an incredible Boston. I got to let you guys know that. She was right in Artist Alley at the new hall at the new building, and I had a really good spot right on an aisle. And it was she had a good show, so I was very happy for her to be able to do what she needed to do over the weekend. So that was great. Yeah, so a very lots of great things happening on the Virtual Cantina Network. A lot of great shows. What are you guys been up to? So, Skip, do you have anything going on between now and the trip?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's a busy year. As I said, I've been to Richmond. I've been to Dallas. Dave and I are going to run over to Knoxville, which is not far from where I live, and go to Fanboy in Knoxville, and then I've got the California trip. Then I come back, and in about the middle of August, actually, literally right before my birthday, I go see Mark Hamill. So Mark Hamill for my birthday. And gosh, I'm forgetting something. There's something else in there that I'm forgetting, but it's going to be a busy year. And there's always the possibility of, do I want to run up to Columbus and see Sherry and go to GalaxyCon up there? So,
Well, I have a kind of feeling that you're potentially going to be making a jaunt up to Rhode Island again.
And October. How can I forget this? ICC.
Oh, Nashville.
Yes, because there'll be a bunch of us there.
Oh, yes. Yes, there will be. It's going to be a hootenanny, as they say. Very excited about everything that we're doing there, but also Rhode Island Comic Con, which I did hear. Coloring the Ezra sketch. That was a great drawing that you did there. But from what I've gathered and what I've heard, there's going to be some really good Star Wars people that a lot of us need in Rhode Island this year. So just something to think about, you know. Hoping on that Paul gets joins the Avatar cast. That'd be fantastic. Also, you know, you never know who's going to show up there. But also, you know, while we're at ICCC and holding down the fort with, you know, Boonta Eve Nashville, as well as, you know, the table and all that, Jeff and Karine and Mike are going to hold down the fort the same weekend at LA Comic Con. So we'll be like manning two different cons, major cons in the country the same weekend. So that's going to be fun.
Early birds, I think, just went on sale.
And they announced Paulie for LA.
They usually wait a while. I think everybody's getting wiser to the idea that they need to have a few good names at the drop.
Get people to sell those tickets out fast.
So, and then
Ashley, if you're dying to see Paul, I believe when I saw him in Richmond, he told me he was going to be in Columbus. I don't know if it's announced yet, but I'm pretty sure that he told me he was going to be in Columbus for GalaxyCon.
Ooh. So it's all very exciting stuff. You know, we got some great names, great cons, great opportunities for all of us to be together. But we're going to be watching episode 4 of The Acolyte, which, I mean, I have to say is that I enjoyed the show, and I was like, I wouldn't say that I was 100% bought into this episode. This episode in particular had me buy in completely. I mean, without giving, you know, spoilers away. I mean, obviously we were all like, oh my, you know, I don't know whether or not, you know, a shorter episode was going to be good or not, but we'll talk about the reason why, because there was an interview with the writer of the next 2 episodes, why this was the shortest episode. But I thought this was the meatiest of all the episodes, and it was the shortest. I don't know. What was your thoughts there, Jeff?
I really enjoyed it. Of course, you know, the ending was kind of cool. But
I love the ending.
That part bugged me a bit.
But I actually enjoyed this show. I was kind of laying all the noise, we'll call it, aside, and really just wanted to watch the episode in its own right, and found that I'm really enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the dialogue. I'm enjoying the scenes, the different planets. I think there's a little skullduggery going on here that I'm looking for it to come out. I'm really enjoying the show.
Me too. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
Well, this episode, Spoiler alert! You better have watched this already. The end with the Kelnaka reveal and the Sith Lord reveal, both. I mean, it's an amazing scene, but it was just that real quick beat done thing. Just
No guarantees he's a Sith Lord, Jeff. He could be some other kind of dark side force user.
Or whatever, the bad guy.
The bad guy.
The man in black.
What is it? The antagonist? Is that what they call him?
There we go. No, yeah, exactly. So that kind of, I just, I knew it was coming to the end of the episode, but it's like, ugh. And I mean, we have not seen, hopefully we get a whole bunch of flashback Kelnaka, because I'm very kind of bummed at the amount we've gotten so far and what he's been doing, sitting there at a speeder trying to work on it.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit, but Kielbasa is a really good Wookiee.
Yes.
I'm calling him Kielbasa. I am going to die on that.
Well, that's why I was calling what's her face, Janky.
Don't knock
For Janky, Kielbasa, and Smilo Ren.
There you go.
Smilo Ren. I love that.
So there's theories of who he is.
Yeah, well, no, there's like
in the current
or she. Hey, look, I'm going to say this for Mike. I'm going to say this for Mike. It could be a she.
I think it's a she. I think it's a she.
Things about that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of misleading. I'm sure over at Lucasfilm, they are sitting there watching all the social media feeds going, look, they fell for that. They fell for that. There's another one. We threw bait in the water and they're biting at everything.
Here it is, Meth Nerds. The person behind the mask is Ryan Johnson.
Oh, don't get me started on that. That is a different watch along. I'm telling you and I, we have to have a Spencer and Skip watch along of The Last Jedi at some point.
I'm game. I'm always game to watch that movie. But no, I want to reiterate something. And if you have not watched the Nerf Herder Council last night, JT goes ballistic, but he rightfully so went ballistic. And this is what I say. And our friend James Burns over at the Jedi News, he wrote a very nice article as well. And this is the stance of the Virtual Cantina Network. Like what you like. Hate what you hate. But don't ruin it for somebody else. Like Skip and I are talking about it all the time. I love Last Jedi. He doesn't. He likes Rise of Skywalker. I don't. But we respect each other's opinion. Whether or not we bust each other's balls is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that we don't have to ruin, and I'm not going to change Skip's mind. Skip's not going to change my mind. We're not going to influence anybody to be who they're not going to be. So don't ruin it for anybody. Nobody's a bigger Star Wars fan than the next person. We're all equal.
Well, and the thing that we've got, Spencer, is that we know each other. So we know we're busting each other's balls. We know that, we'll have fun with this. It's when you start picking on someone that you don't know, that you've never met, and chafing somebody's performance, and nothing about this. That's the one that bothers me. You see, if you don't know somebody, then keep your mouth shut.
Keep it alive. Exactly. So seriously, there's no room for that in the Virtual Cantina. We're all about the love and the peace and loving Star Wars. Think of it like this. When we were all kids and the original trilogy came out, we were all teased for the fact that we like Star Wars. It was not the cool, hip thing. Why the actual F are we going to do it as adults? Shouldn't we be more evolved?
Or I remember as an adult in the 90s, because I'm a little older than at least Spencer, but mentioning that you were a Star Wars fan was sort of like, it was like a...
Well, that was back when the word nerd was not a nice thing.
Right.
Now it's telling you I'm a nerd.
Or the renaissance of the geek.
Yeah. We're the renaissance of the geek. Because when we were geeks, it wasn't cool to be a geek.
So I would be like, oh, I'm a Star Wars fan. And it'd be like, oh, okay. And it's like...
Yeah. So seriously, like what you like, hate what you hate, but don't ruin it for somebody else. No one is better than the next person. And we have no room for that in the virtual cantina. We have
And
no room for
criticism
that.
does not make you smarter. It just makes you crankier.
It's not worth it. I used to get really bent out of shape when people would bitch and moan about Last Jedi. And after a while, I just realized it's not worth it. My energy could be drain me. My energy could be better suited to making this the best group possible, the best family possible. Why am I going to waste a moment of my time and effort trying to change someone's mind?
Well, the screwy thing is, I think we've mentioned this before, mentioned in other videos, was the movie, The Acolyte or Acolyte, has been getting reviewed bombed as having ruined Star Wars when it has zero to do with Star Wars, because people are dumbasses that just need to throw their, bile at whatever passes by. It's like, I don't know.
Well, it's primate.
It's sad.
It really is. It's primatable. People are not. You can like whatever you like. You can hate whatever you hate. We're all fans at the end of the day. So why should we even care?
Well, some of those people can be critiqued.
I think there's going to be some people that are going to be eating some crow here before this is all over, because I think that that Lucasfilm has gotten wise to this and plays up to it and stirs it up, gets it all worked up, and then by the end of it has it worked out. I think that it's a waste of time. Enjoy Star Wars.
This whole thing that Sherry mentioned has been true for a while, where any new Star Wars gets this kind of treatment because people are projecting something that they thought of or expected versus what the actual creators are creating. That's where I've always said, it's not my Star Wars to make. I will enjoy what they give me. I'm going to enjoy some of it more than others, most likely, but I can't say it should be XYZ because I have no creative control, absolutely none, over any of the process.
I didn't back in 2012. I didn't have $4 billion in my bank account. So
if I had any, inkling to go into that type of business, maybe I would have tried to gravitate like some of the current, crew and cast members are actually longtime fans. That kind of, would be a cool thing to get to if you were already in that sort of circle. But since I have no real connection with that entertainment,
here's one I'm going to throw out. And I think I said this. I don't know whether I said it to you, Spencer, or said it to Dave today. People make mistakes. Okay? And just because you make a mistake in producing something doesn't mean that it's bad. Okay, you caught the mistake. Let's go back to that. There's a video that floats around of Sam Witwer talking about, this scene in the Clone Wars. And he's there, and they shoot this scene where Anakin gets to meet his ghost, the ghost of his mother, and introduces, he says, I have a wife, and here she is. I want her to meet her. And here's, and this is something that Dave Filoni, who doesn't make too many mistakes in Star Wars, has put up. And at the end, here's Sam going, we got a problem here. We got to shoot that again. Why? Well, she's already met Padme, and they've had dinner together. And it's like, ooh, you're right. And they have, and sometimes nobody figures it out until it's in production and produced and being put on air. And then they go, oh shit, we missed it. And maybe they missed it. Give them a freaking break.
Well, there's supposed to be somebody on staff for continuity in that case.
And it's possible that all of them missed it, or it's possible that they've got something, to work it out that we just haven't seen yet. It drives me crazy.
Spencer. Can't hear
You're
you.
on mute, Spencer.
Still muted. Muted.
Anthony, until he gets back now, I'll just keep talking.
There.
Anthony,
you're back. Okay, got it.
There we go.
So a couple of quick things about that is you can't imagine how many times we have, like in the back end, Jeff will put something over and say, the 15 of us proofread it, and it misses all of us on that crap. So you never know what kind of committee. But
Yeah.
I want to give her props. Anthony just posted right here. I saw it today. The galaxy far, far away does not revolve around you. That was on our host Jamie Graham's Instagram today. And I want to give her props for it because it's 100% correct.
Mm-hmm. Like Lonnie says.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
big
a big-
ass.
There's room for pretty much
We don't-
everyone, but
we
we
don't
don't want the
swear on
negativity
this.
if we can help it.
No. So once again, we're going to be watching episode 4 tonight and talk about a whole bunch of things into it. So make sure you have your Disney Plus all queued up at the splash scene. We're going to start about 5 minutes from now. But anyway, let's go start with something that's going to be really, really excited about. Skip, who are you looking forward to meeting at the Boonta Eves that you have not met, or who have you met before and you're excited to see again?
Tate.
Tate's very cool. He's a
Tate,
good guy.
stop on my list of people that I haven't met. Now, there's some other people that I'll be excited to meet, but Tate's on the top of the list of people that I have not met. I've got close to meeting. I think I've actually done. Did I do the show with him?
You didn't you do? You came up for Rhode Island? No, you didn't come with Dave. You came for Rhode Island.
I've been in and out so many times. I've done one with Brandon finally. Woo! I got Brandon, Dawn Ditzworth. I did one with her. There was somebody. I couldn't remember whether it was, but I'm dying to meet Tate.
He's a good guy.
He's a really good guy, and he's a very big supporter of what we do, which is fantastic. I'm excited to meet like all the people that we've not had on the VCN before, that we've never been before. Like I'm really excited about obviously Jarl Prescott, who plays one of the Night Sisters from Ahsoka. This is gonna be our first Star Wars signing, which I'm very, very excited about. Chris Sean, I'm excited about him, especially because we're gonna have, Kaz Ziono with Senator Ziono hanging out together.
Is he our only voice actor?
Technically, yes. Whereas Laura Mary Kim was in Clone Wars, Chris is our only voice actor.
Well, she didn't speak in Clone Wars, so she did motion
Yeah, just the
capture.
mocap. So, but I'm excited about like all those. Those are some of those that come to mind. Over at Biggs, I'm really excited about Aiden Barton, who is little Luke and Leia from the Sith.
Yeah,
I haven't signed one photo twice.
Well, I did find a
Is there
composite.
a shot of both of the babies together?
I found an 8x10 the composite of a split screen.
Oh,
Of
okay.
the two. So I'm like, okay, because I have a shot of Wedge, of old Wedge and new Wedge, that I gave to Kat once, but I got another one for when I ever meet Dennis Lawson again. But I got that.
Right.
But also Daniel Stevens, who's been a stuntman for over 20 plus years, and he's also Hugh Jackman's regular stuntman. So those who are getting the popcorn bucket during Deadpool Wolverine, he's Hugh's stuntman in that movie. So you can get your popcorn bucket signed.
Popcorn bucket signed.
The popcorn bucket saga continues.
Where's
No outside popcorn buckets, though, please. Only the Wolverine Deadpool.
Hey, Dave, how are you? Calling in live from Superhero Con in Texas, where Dave ran to Joanna online for Sam Witwer. So very excited about that. And we got more members through there who will be all looking out for Dave later on. But and Skip, you said you met him at GalaxyCon?
Yeah. We
where
we were in line together several times.
Awesome. Well, which is all the more reason to get the popcorn bucket, Ray. Just to have your wife do the Ghostbusters quote. What did you do, Ray? So they're seeing Diego tomorrow, which is great. Diego Luna's first con. I hope he enjoys himself so he'll show up in Japan.
Oh wow!
Very cool.
But anyway, we are at that hour right now, so we're about to start watching episode 4. So please make sure you have your Disney Plus machines all queued up. And Jeff, why don't we do the 10-second countdown?
Oops.
So I love how that ship that has like the holder for the smaller like craft, and you can see like the wings like go back inside the ship.
They also had the one that it separates. Like they flew in a bigger ship that then had like a front end that came off of it.
I just love that, I was sitting there thinking about this. I was like, why don't they use anything that's fairly familiar? And then when you're like, oh yeah, this is hundreds of years difference than OG, and so they've got to come up to make it look different.
Yep. So there's Kilbasa's pissed off right there.
That's one pissed off Kilbasa.
Kanaka. It will, and if you put your if it'll help, Jeff, you can put the subtitles in so you can actually see what his name is when he's talking.
You said it right. That's me.
Mysterious music playing.
Yes.
Yes, I am only emulating what Spencer said.
So far.
It sounds like something that you would like the Klingon would say. Kofar.
So,
okay. Did anybody else wish that his cloak was red?
No, it's not Life Day.
That would have been hilarious.
The fact that he's actually wearing a cloak when he was walking around butt naked when he ran into those two guys is interesting.
So yes, first and foremost, I thought his cloak should have been red, which I think would have been absolutely hilarious.
So
but
he's living in a crashed ship.
He's been tagging up his walls. What's that, Skip?
He's living in a crashed ship. Like it was a ship.
Look at this. He's cooking.
He downed it.
Is he doing stir whip, stir whip, stir whip? Like,
yeah, I'm sure that's what Richard is saying.
That's his grass that's growing in his dish.
He's making some wheat grass juice.
And the same symbol that's on May's
head. We didn't know that was freaking Coruscant.
In the first episode, I leaned over to Kareen and said, duh, because it was a long thing, and then they finally put it up. I'm like, you didn't have to put that up at that point.
So I love
that. Reminds me of the guy from, was it Game of Thrones that was pining for Gwendolyn Christie's character?
So I like the fact that they're trained with the stick, just like Sabine was in Ahsoka. But for
as opposed to those... The ones that the younglings had, that Anakin had to strike down.
But do you like that screen crush where they're saying, well, that was just not one that, that was just for posterity because Yoda could handle it. But, but for those playing at home and for those who say there's not a white male in this show, look, there's the white male in this show.
And not only that, but, have you noticed how the High Republic is a more pompous version of the Jedi?
Right.
Well, if you figure this is I mean, right here alone. So this is 100 years before Phantom Menace.
The Ahsoka line.
Yep, and at that time, we were all talking about that they were blinded by their own ideologies that they couldn't believe that the Sith were back in any sort of capacity. And you're seeing them be the truth behind it here. Like it came from somewhere. Plus, also, we have freaking Cal Mundy, spoiler alert, the one who said that it hasn't been back in the millennia. Dude, we know it's you. We saw the credits.
Yeah, truly.
Maybe he just didn't get the memo. I don't know.
He has a short-term 100-year-old memory loss.
But like JT said, with that kind of cranium, shouldn't his brain be a little bit like
Able to retain more info.
yeah?
Unless he's like one of those dinosaurs that have the big chunky heads and a little dinosaur brain.
Yeah, a little dinosaur pea brain.
Just a lot of
brain.
padding for it.
Does look a little bit like Jurassic World there.
Yeah, this does. That's one thing that some of these locations are really, really nice.
Well, I also love the fact that as well is that you know, we got so used to the volume and they're doing like mostly practical in this. It's nice.
Okay, so anybody got money on whether what's this guy's name? Curie? Was it QIRI? Say something here so help him. Yeah.
You think he's the you think
I
he's
think he's our antagonist. I think he's the bad guy. He's got that Dick Van Dyke version of tripping around on purpose to make himself look like a doofus when he's really the most coordinated of all.
Yeah,
see, I have a theory
that it's skilled alchemist with that Bunta drink.
Well, I was saying to Dave today, there's a whole kind of skullduggery going on in the storytelling here, in that they are this guy is clearly nefarious, and the question becomes is he really nefarious or not nefarious? You know, they're playing him off like he's nefarious.
So there's a young Kyle Mundi. I mean, initially when I first saw him, when we watched it the other night,
he's only got what, 6 wives at this time?
Yeah, I saw that too. That I was like, oh, same creature, but it's same character, which is interesting.
I knew it was Kiadi Mundi from the beginning when I saw him.
Like,
the way
do you think? I mean, I think it's Mother Coral that might be the Sith, because you did not see her body during that whole scene.
If I have I'm getting more vibes now that I think about it, that it could be a female in that suit, because if you notice some of the arm movement, there wasn't a lot of like musculature. Like the arms seemed more slender and lanky, but that could apply to him as well, just as easily as to somebody of, you know, a different gender.
You know, the main protagonist or antagonist,
there's another white guy.
You know, in disguise, not being who they seem. I mean, that goes all the way back to Phantom Menace. I mean, if you talk about, you know, Padme, you know, going around like saying that she was, you know, a handmaid, as opposed to being the Queen Naboo.
Yep.
What is Vernestra's rank here? Because when she left, they all bowed their heads to her.
I think she's a Grandmaster. At this point, I think she's Grandmaster.
She seems very adamant that there's no Sith possibilities.
Well, you know, is there only one Grandmaster in this? I mean, isn't Yoda the Grandmaster?
At this
Yoda's
point, maybe not.
So I read an article that the reason why they brought in Kyle Mundi, it was the fact that initially it was actually written for Yoda, but Tom Kane and Frank Oz were not available.
Interesting. There was an interview with the producer lady where she said something about not getting like the permission to use Yoda.
Leslie Headland.
Yeah.
So when she said she has something they want, do you think that he's saying himself that he would sacrifice himself?
No, he's talking about OSHA.
But I think he was talking about he has something to trade for May, because they were saying, "Do you think there'll be trouble?" And
No, they want to know do they have something that May wants? May wants OSHA. That's why he had to go back and con her into coming on the trip, because he needed to dangle OSHA in front of May
to help lure her there.
Now, it's kind of unspoken, Jeff, but what do you think? I mean, it seems towards the end of this episode that May has learned her lesson, the lesson that she has to learn on her own. And I think that she's ready to turn her back on what her mission that she's been doing so far.
And that's very apparent, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's
Spoiler alert.
Turn herself in and so forth, that she's realized the error of her ways, and then boom, in comes the bad guy. Almost like it was already set up to be that way.
Oh, like that was part of a plan to infiltrate or something, maybe?
What was the Timothy Zahn novel, which Mike was here, that he did where Thrawn was dead, but they got somebody to imitate him? And I wonder if this is like an imitation of a Sith Lord. Somebody's pretending to be a Sith, but maybe isn't really a Sith.
Well, there's also an interesting theory that the Smilo Ren character is actually the actual Acolyte, and there's a higher power above that. Now, I don't think Plagueis is the first one. I don't know. But, you know...
Well, the question becomes, when did Plagueis get killed by...
he got killed by Palpatine, I think, between Phantom Menace and... clones. I think that's when it actually happened.
I thought it happened before then, but that was not that I read anything. That it was just as I was reading the books and so forth.
But I mean, what if if it's Plagueis, wouldn't that negate? Like, I know we're talking EU there, but we're talking about Malik. We're talking about Revit. We're talking about other Sith Lords that, technically could show up. I mean, what if it's Revit?
Playing the part of Mike today, what if it's Abeloth?
Well, yeah, he can look at Abeloth. Yeah.
Because if it is Abeloth, then Abeloth's not really truly a Sith, just a Darksider, which straightens out the whole Kiadi Mundi statement.
Yeah, right. It's from a certain point of view at that point.
Yes.
So now there's Plo Koon, or is it?
No,
it's not. It's another character's name. It
looks exactly like Plo Koon.
Yes.
Not even like, sort of like Plo Koon. He looks exactly like Plo Koon.
So what's your thoughts on Basil?
Pip doesn't like Basil.
I'm not a big Basil fan myself either.
He's very rodent-y, but he is a rodent after all. And then, of course, we got Yord and his...
I'm not big on Yord either. But
right here, that thing, it breaks apart. So, like, for hyperspace, they had a secondary piece that was attached to the back of the ship.
Hyperspace wing that they use.
And then the landing craft breaks off of it. That's kind of interesting. I love how there's just this random set of lights that's where you got to land. Couldn't land over there, or, on the other side of the thing. Or...
Sidebar. Want to make sure that everybody checks out the newest episode of Skywalking Through Neverland with an interview, first part, with John Goodson, and it's absolutely incredible.
Very cool.
So please take a look.
Love how they're like just making you get annoyed with Yord.
Well, he's a do-gooder. Like he's a know-it-all, and
by the book kind of thing.
He's a brown-noser.
I wholeheartedly agree. They're doing a very good job of making me not like him.
Because that redemption will be so much sweeter when everybody loves him at the end of the season.
Well, you know what they say. Everybody gets Oprah'd at least once in Star Wars. So
There you go. Get that redemption.
We have a redemption for you and a redemption for you.
yep.
And for Basil.
I think I've been on Rebels Revisited enough that I can say, over at Rebels Revisited, we say,
Yeah.
redemption for you, redemption for you.
Absolutely.
Basil got a sniff of the fart rag and he's on his way.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you just said fart rag.
Well, he could have said it was a whack rag. Would that have been worse?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, folks.
It's
Facebook
after
will be
9 o'clock.
picking us up. Yeah. Watch along after hours.
Watch long after.
Hmm.
Citizen. Yeah.
She already said she wasn't a Jedi, so there was like I'd heard speculation that somehow like she's one person that's force projecting the other person somehow, but it's like how is
No, that's not
having
a good theory.
two full on like interactions and conversations.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
but-
like this is like the Star Wars version of Memento. If you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah, but she shot at May.
Right.
She
Well,
was.
there was speculation on that front too. It was like, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, people are digging, looking for something.
exactly.
And that's the
They're
thing.
not
People are
finding-
going to do like we're going to do. We keep on talking about this. We are going to dig and say, as fans, we're going to dig and dig and dig and say, does this mean this? Does this mean that? We're saying, okay, did we see coaxium in the original trilogy and not even know it? But like things that we're trying to think is the thing is it's filled out in our minds now. The stories are still being fleshed out that we're starting to look and say, okay, can this be that? Like there's a picture, there's a meme out there right now with the picture of the old gnarly rebel soldier from Return of the Jedi with the white beard, and then there's Rex who's in the same outfit, in Rebels, and then someone said, Dave, what do you think of these two pictures? He's like, what? Same picture. So it's like we're gonna look for the same meaning no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't think they go back looking, going, I wonder what we can use. Hey, look. That guy looks like Rex.
Well, after you've seen everything multiple times and then you go back to watch it, you're not paying attention to the same stuff anymore. You're looking at the weird little details in the background or the markings on this or that then will add to what you think of what's going on. And in some cases, you can be like, oh, that looks familiar. That's kind of like this thing over here. And in a lot of cases, it is.
The potato bugs attached to the tree.
Gross. Yeah, flying ones, too.
So
this whole
you
thing,
know what it kind of remind me of? The last indigenous creatures, a City Alpha 5. Yes, I just hocked the trek.
this whole thing. Why does she yell one individual's name in this particular? I would have said, hey, everyone, or what the heck is that? Or something like that. I wouldn't have been like, hey, you, one person, I need your help. And he could be the one that comes down and takes the lead, but he's ready to. He's got the T-ball bat out and ready to go.
Thank you, Anthony, for getting the reference.
And Anthony, I'm with you. This whole episode, I was going, what are they doing here with Kamir? They're definitely, trying to throw the scent off, as they say. So it's he's trying to piss her off. He's trying to get her to go. He's manipulation all across the board. There is definitely something here up with Kamir.
What's also what they like touching the bugs? If you remember when they were on the Kyber Crystal Planet, Ilium,
Right.
when Grogu is freaking touching those pods, and all of a sudden the spiders come out of it. It's like, dude, don't hit the hornet's nest. It's like it's not a pinata.
Don't pull the thread. Don't pull
Right,
the thread.
exactly. But I mean, the thread is obviously another reference, like to the witches and the fates of Macbeth. The mortal thread. So which they talk about that, and maybe this is like a sect of the night witches in Dathomir. I mean, Mother Cora is a Zabrith. I mean, Mother Cora is a Zabrith, and they're from Dathomir, so she can have some Night Sister in her.
Mm-hmm. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, this guy just gives me heebie-jeebies. I can't wait to see what his deal is.
He does have kind of oddball vibes.
Yeah. When it's all over, I want to know who he is. If that's one of those questions sometimes that they don't resolve by the end of a season, I'm going to be very upset. Just because I want to know the answer.
Well, as long as they do it right, so one of my all-time favorite shows is a show called Twin Peaks, which was huge back in the 90s. And the big storyline was who killed Laura Palmer. You still didn't know at the end of season 1 who killed Laura Palmer. You found out midway through season 2 who the actual murderer was. But at that point, the show never should have kept going on. So I'll be okay still not knowing who the murderer is, as long as we have a great cliffhanger at the end of season 1.
In some cases, I feel it'd be better if they wrapped up some of these stories more completely without the intent of a second season or whatever, just in case there's some kind of issue where they decide to cut all the TV, whatever. That kind of weird corporate move. But they could still have some things dangling.
So, recent article with Filoni, besides the fact that they announced that there's going to be a season 2 of this show, is he is completely open to the idea of a rated R Star Wars as long as it's done right. So, I'm intrigued by that idea.
Now, when I watched that the second time, I noticed her pulling that rope out, and I was like, "Yeah, she knew what she was doing as soon as she sat down."
Right.
Would have been great if someone said, "I smell burnt hair."
Burnt fur.
That's something we always talk about. Spoiler alert. That's something we talked about for a long time. Is like would a lightsaber singe fur? And we actually see what happens. This is a classic trope, like.
What?
Kanaka.
Kielbasa.
Yeah.
You and I don't speak the same language. That didn't look like kielbasa to me.
Pretty much.
You smell like it in a minute. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Great, Chewie. Always thinking of your stomach.
There you go. They really needed to have a scene of Chewie actually eating the porg that he ultimately let go to waste. That was cooked so succulently.
He went
should have at least took a
vegetarian.
bite. Yeah. He
Does this make you feel like that joke? How many Jedi do you need to change a light bulb?
How many
How many
Jedi do
Jedi
you need to track down a Wookiee?
I had to stop and go, hold on. We got 8 Jedi here? Padawans included?
That's pretty funny.
Posse. Quite the posse.
What did they think they're going to run into?
I don't know. Way to go, Bart.
This scene here, he goes, where you start saying, when this is all over, I'm going to tell you. Oh, he's dead. Because now he's never.
Telltale sign that something's going to go down.
It's a telltale sign that someone's going to die when they tell you, as soon as this is over, I'm going to tell you what happened.
That little bit of info that will change your perspective. Well,
I'll explain everything, I promise.
Spoiler alert, he's the last one and we still got 4 episodes after this coming up.
He's going to sacrifice himself in some sort of capacity.
He's going to take a saber to the gut, and it's not going to kill him.
That would never happen in Star Wars.
Why is Basil so freaked out? He doesn't know who she is, does he? I guess he is.
Oh, Anthony, you were definitely.
That sounds very feasible.
Oh yeah, I was clear
plausible.
That those 4 Jedi killed all the witches, which is of course why they're being targeted by May. Because though Osha didn't see it, May did.
Master Kielbasa.
It was the second run that I realized that that's a slice across his chest.
So when she went into the room and he slumped over, I love that steaming pile of burnt fur. He slumped over. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sleeping.
Nobody plays dead like Jonas.
So did the grinning guy totally take him by surprise and kill him in his chair?
So, as Richard Wolski said, the role of Smiling Ren is played by Bruce Wayne because it's definitely a Batman 89 entrance. Watch this.
You think she sensed him? Saul senses him. Nobody else.
There he is. There he be.
It's almost like a Dementor, or Voldemort.
Somebody compared it to the alien.
Voldemort or Snape, doing that floating thing. Smile, you're on candid camera. My dated humor.
What's incredible about what's about to come up, which was, I thought, an amazing cliffhanger for this episode, is you have at least 3/4 of a dozen Jedi right there, and just with one force push, he houses everybody.
I love this. Doink.
Or she.
And then that. Wow.
Boom.
So that's an amazing combo.
Okay.
And
so I have to say that shot of all the Jedi bum rushing them would be an incredible sign piece.
Oh, right.
If you can get
all those actors on there, right?
So I love this episode. I love everything about this episode. And the article I read is there's a reason why this is the shortest episode, because they were written back to back, this episode and episode 5. And episode 5 is going to be very long.
It's going to pick up the slack, kind of?
Yeah.
Because they allocate so much time that's equivalent of, I don't know how many hours. But
the other thing is they wanted to end with a cliffhanger, and this scene just happened to be
that point in the
halfway.
story. exactly.
Oh, this cliffhanger pissed so many people off, and I loved every moment of it because I thought it was such a great cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty crazy. But it's like all the action really took place in that last like couple of minutes. And a lot of the rest of it was them walking through the forest. So, but
That's another
sort of
argument
like
I
a Lord
have.
of the Rings like complaint, like too much walking and not enough fighting.
Oh yeah, so someone said if one remembers that too much walking. I'm like, what? Does the trees walk too? It's a 3 hours of walking to an effing volcano. Like it's not Clerks 2 here. I enjoyed it. I love this episode. I thought we got most of my character work and everything in between. I'm sold. Like I'm sold on this storyline. I'm loving it. I'm
Well,
loving
only
it.
halfway through the season, which is nice.
And someone said this pacing too slow. I'm like, if you think this pacing is too slow, you must have hated Andor. Like seriously, I think this pacing is just right and it's fast. So it's a complete juxtaposition from Andor. I know what your thoughts, Skip.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking where it's going. I'm like I am exactly where they want me to be. So I'm wondering who this bad guy is, or bad girl, or bad being. Let's put it that way, or bad creature.
Baddie.
There's still plenty of questions to be answered. Kamir, what's his role in all this? Is May going to confess to the Jedi, and then does she end up becoming the Jedi? Does Osha end up dying? Kind of trading of positions. Osha passes, and May takes her position in the Jedi. There's just so many possibilities, and I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens.
It's not Stoke, it's Mephisto.
Mm.
And I really don't care if Ki-Adi-Mundi said, is realizing this is the Sith, and then says that there are so many reasons why that could be a valid point for him to say, to know that this could be possibly the Sith, and then admit or try and throw them off the track of the Sith being extinct in episode 1. I just, it just doesn't ruin it for me. Even if that's a total screw up on Lucasfilm's part of letting him say that, it doesn't screw up the show for me. I think if that screws up this show for you, you are taking Star Wars a little too seriously.
Well, we haven't really determined that he's specifically a Sith, right? So we
don't know that. Everybody's just screaming that, saying, "Oh, they fucked up." We don't know that. We don't know that.
According to this, no one knows what Sith is. Like this is supposed to be the first Sith. So if you go back to the first,
well, I know that the Sith are extinct.
Should be farther back.
Well, they did say that a sect learned it on their own in the Outer Rim, learned the Force, the ways of the dark side. So
that's because they think the Sith are extinct. They're trying to come up with other excuses for Darksiders because, unbeknownst to them, the Sith have been there the whole time. I mean, there's been one, and then the other, and then the other. Yeah.
They're Boken Sith.
Well, but like the fact they took this on Screen Crush as well, that there's different sects to the Force, to the Jedis. So they had different beliefs within.
Male Sith and female Sith and all the other Sith.
And I don't see a whole lot of overload of, everybody was jumping on, oh, it's Leslie Headland. She's going to make this all about, an agenda. But, there hasn't been any kind of appearance of an agenda in this show. It's just, like I said, I turned off the noise and watched it and said, I like the dialogue. I like the characters. I like the message, as far as the story. It's all working for me.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited for the next couple episodes. And, there's a rumor that we might get a good number of the Acolyte cast in Japan, which will be incredible. which
Yeah.
Skip and I do need, because we do have a cast piece that we are currently working on.
Yeah, okay. We got one. Do you have somebody else added to yours? I have one.
No, but you're going to get another one before I do.
Yeah.
You're going to get Jonas, so I mean,
Yeah, I will
I
definitely
got
get
two,
yours.
but I have two on my skeleton crew piece. So
There you go.
That's cool.
yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Obviously, we have a lot going on here on the Virtual Cantina Network. This coming Sunday, we have another episode of the Jedi Archives, so check that out. As well as Monday is the final episode of Celebrating Autographs, where the guys are going to talk about Boone to Eve, San Francisco, creators of the Star Wars universe, which we're very excited about. And also next week is the return of Daughters of the Galaxy, and also episode 5 of Celebrating Autographs. The Watch-Along. Yeah. But yeah, get ready, excited. Get ready for 1 month away from the Virtual Cantina Family Show. Don't forget also the After Hours. They do a bang-up job breaking it down. And, if Mike gets it right with Abeloth, we're all going to be owing Mike Blue Milk and Fuzzy Tauntauns in California.
Mhm.
But anything, Skip, anything you want to close out with?
Just an excellent show. I'm glad the way it's going. That's my third time watching that. I am just as happy as I was the first time, with just a little bit more attention to detail. So I'm loving it.
Beware the phone. Yes.
One more thing, and great participation from the crowd tonight. Lots of good stuff in there.
Yeah, we got a good
Yes,
audience.
thank you very much for having these people go. They have tauntauns, yes. But yeah, thank you very much for all the new people watching today on all of our platforms, whether you are on the VCN, on Facebook, on X, or on IG. We do greatly appreciate that. And also, don't forget, subscribe to the Virtual Cantina Network. Oh, you inhale the foam? I was told to lick the foam the first time I had it in Florida, and my throat closed. My wife and the bartender were laughing at me. But yes, so please, please, please make sure that you go to the Virtual Cantina Network, which is at youtube.com/@Virtual Cantina Network, and ring that bell. Get notifications whenever we go live or there's something new. We're putting a lot of shorts up on our page, and I'm getting notifications like a couple hours later saying, hey, Virtual Cantina has something new up on their page. So please make sure you do that. We want to get over to 2,000. We're about 1410 right now. Anyway, for that in mind, for Skip and Jeff, this is Spencer say, light in life, and may the force be with you.
Peace out.
The thread. Whoops, where are we? We're still here.
I'm not dead yet.